Ryan Blaney wins in Daytona, the final race before the playoffs, and you think the playoffs would be the bigger story, but before the race even started, Kaulig had a bombshell, a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good this Sunday. All right, first things first, let's jump into the news that happened before the race even started, and that is that Kaulig will be the team for Ram or Dodge or Stellantis, whatever you want to call it, in the Truck Series next season. It was announced that they would be the primary team, the main team running those Dodge trucks, and they're not running not one, not two, not three, not four, but five different Ram trucks in that series next season. The other thing that was the immediate question, are they moving off of RCR's campus? Are they going to stay on RCR's campus? Well, it came down that they are going to stay on RCR's campus. Those trucks will be run out of that organization, and it led to a lot of rampant rumors. We're going to read a couple of quotes and then get to those rumors and why they may or may not be true, but let's take a look at this article here from Zach Albert at NASCAR.com. Matt Kaulig said that he's viewing the Truck Series effort with Ram as a separate entity. We don't really have a goal that way, Kaulig said when asked about the Cup Series manufacturer shift. I mean, we're taking it as we're Ram trucks. We're running the Truck Series. I mean, we're still with Chevy, Xfinity, and Cup. We've had great relationships there, great relationships with Richard Childress and RCR, so we literally are just keeping it separate and just viewing it that way. Every team's tied to a manufacturer right now, but over the years, people have switched manufacturers, so we don't look at it as we're switching manufacturers. We look at it as we're going truck racing with Ram. And Bob Pockris tweeted out, Kaulig is the only planned Ram team for trucks. Team will be based in their shops on the RCR campus. Kaulig does own the buildings they are in. And there are other reports out there that they are looking for other properties in the Welcome, North Carolina area to expand that way as well for the Kaulig deal. So they could possibly be keeping it separate, like Matt Kaulig said. But of course, the more spicy thing, a lot of people wanted to point that, hey, they're on RCR's campus. RCR has an engine shop. Is RCR going to be the team that goes Dodge? A lot of people pointing to the fact that Austin Dillon had a quote the other week after his win, where he essentially said that him and his grandfather sometimes didn't see eye to eye, but Pop sometimes would come to see it his way on his point of view. And a lot of people thinking that the friction that they were talking about in that particular exchange could have been the switch to Ram. Now, whether that happens or not, whether that rumor comes true, whether it's just a rumor that people are floating out there because Kaulig decided to race Dodge or Ram in the Truck Series is yet to be seen. But a lot of people immediately, as soon as the news came out, they immediately went to RCR. Oh, they're going to be, Dodge and Cup. So that is the rumor floating around out there. Whether there's any legs to it or not, who knows? But it was a huge bombshell before this race even started. Now, as far as the timeline for Dodge, the Stellantis brand associated with Ram, getting into the Cup Series, we did get some information on that as well from the same article. This quote from Nate Buello of Ram. Buello said, I think we've got a lot of work to do to get these 5 trucks on the track first, and then Cup is the next thing on our agenda to figure it out. How are we going to do it? What are we going to do? I'd hate to commit to the timing with you, but it's a much bigger endeavor. With the trucks being a spec chassis, we've got a body. We're through Aero and all that good stuff. Cup is just such a bigger endeavor, and a lot of work has to be done in developing an engine and all that. Whether Kaulig Racing is a part of that effort is to be determined. So definitely they want to get to the Cup Series, but what they're saying here is the Cup Series is a whole different animal. You've got the spec engine basically in the Truck Series, spec chassis, and the body is basically already figured out. They just got to slap a nose on it. For the Cup Series, you have to have a couple of fenders, probably a hood and a nose, and like he said, it's not a spec engine in the Cup Series, so they're going to have to develop an engine program to get the engines back up to par. Now, they've got a block, so they're at least ahead of the game there. They've got a block that will work with this current next-gen car, but they do have to get that motor to the specs that all these other manufacturers have spec'd it to this point. So that is going to be a huge endeavor. So the Cup Series might be a different situation all the way around, might be a longer timeline, possibly 2028, 2027 at the earliest. The next question, of course, becomes who are going to be the 5 drivers that drive those trucks? That is yet to be determined, but also they said all of those trucks are sponsored. Well, it came out today that those trucks are sponsored by Ram. As you see right here from Seriously Fast Motorsports, per Ty Norris of Kaulig Racing, Ram Trucks will sponsor all 5 for the life of the contract. That tells me Kaulig has unprecedented support and they can get their drivers and not chase money. So there you go. Ram is going to sponsor the trucks, and that means probably unlimited resources in the truck series. We've seen this before with Toyota. If you remember how Toyota came into the Cup Series, they dominated in trucks for a long period of time. So expect Dodge to have, or Ram to have, a serious presence in the truck series with those trucks. It is going to be their priority of focus, where these other companies will be focused, obviously, on the Cup Series. So it could be a big shakeup there in the truck series power dynamics as far as, which teams are the best and all that good stuff. All right, we did have a cutoff race, last race before the playoffs start, and Ryan Blaney at 31 years of age wins again. It is win number 15 for him, making him 56th all-time. He is tied with William Byron on that list as well, so moving right up the ladder, win by win for Ryan Blaney. Not only that, though, if you look at Ryan Blaney's most recent statistics in his last few races, you've got an 8th, a 7th, a 4th, a 6th, a 3rd, and a win. And the reason that is significant, those last 6 races, well, it's playoff time, and Ryan Blaney is getting hot at the right time. We know this is the MO for Penske. They get hot at the right time, and Ryan Blaney is trending that way. It's an odd year, so obviously Joey Logano's not going to win the championship because he only wins in even years. Is this Ryan Blaney's year over there at Penske because he's getting hot at the right time? It is a fair question to ask. That being said, it wasn't the most determined thing ever, because at the end of that race, Ryan Blaney and Cole Custer came out of nowhere on that top line to get to the front. Blaney pushing Cole Custer doing everything he could to hold on to try to spoil it, get the win, and winning you're in situation, which would have bumped Alex Bowman out, but that didn't happen. Ryan Blaney did get the win. But let's talk about the race overall. We have been so accustomed to these super speedway races where these drivers just ride around and save fuel. They don't really race the first 2 stages, and they don't really get wild until the very end of the race. This race, because it was a cutoff playoff race, was the exact opposite of that. They raced the entire time. People were always out there struggling, scraping, trying to get track position, trying to improve their chances, their positioning to win this race. And it made for a very entertaining race. The first consequence of that, of course, was multiple cautions, which gave this race different complexions from time to time. If you remember, one of the very first cautions, I think it was the second caution of the entire event, was between the Grillo's Pickles car and the 45, which completely changed the complexion of the playoff picture in that moment, as it looked like Tyler Reddick might have been on the cut line if things had continued to go that way. But then you just waited one caution later, the caution between Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and a few others, but one of the others in that was Alex Bowman. As soon as Alex Bowman got in that caution, the complexion of the playoffs flipped again, and Alex Bowman was on the cut line, and that is where Alex Bowman stayed for the rest of the race, as multiple drivers that didn't have wins vied for the front of that race. So overall, and there was multiple leaders too, so it was a great thing to keep track of the whole time. Pretty easy to keep track of, because who's in the lead? If they're in the lead, they're going to bump out Alex Bowman unless they've already won a race. So it was a really great race overall for the Cup Series, and 2 back-to-back really good races, which is what NASCAR needed, what this car needed, because all of the talk about this car had been super negative up until this point. Last weekend, Goodyear saved them with the tires, and this weekend they decided to actually go racing at a super speedway, which paid dividends. That being said, let's run down the top 10 and see who got some good finishes. Ryan Blaney, of course, gets the win. Daniel Suarez, so close to spoiling it there in second place. Justin Haley, Cole Custer, and Eric Jones all right there at the very end of this one. And just shout out to all of those drivers, because they were trying to win and get in, but they all raced very, very cleanly there at the end. Eric Jones at one point was leading, got shuffled all the way back, and then you see at the end of this thing, got himself all the way back up into the top 5, was hunting for that win. Cole Custer out of absolutely freaking nowhere on that last lap. He wasn't at the front all race. Then all of a sudden he jumped up top and got that push from Blaney, and he was up to the front as well. So great action, great run from all of those top 5 drivers. Let's look at the rest of the top 10 here. Kyle Larson in 6th place still doesn't have that top 5 at Daytona, but was oh so close. Chris Buescher, another guy that needed that win, was pushing Cole Custer there at the end. Pushed him a little too hard past the start-finish line. Cole Custer did save it. Ty Gibbs, good run for him. Josh Berry, excellent run. The 21 won here a year ago, so a lot of performance once again from that car. And Chase Elliott here in 10th. 11 through 16, Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Christopher Bell, Ryan Preece, Ross Chastain, and Shane Van Gisbergen here in 16th. And wanted to mention SVG there because he did get up front. He did lead some laps, and I feel like he did learn a few things. He got non-committal right there when he was leading the pack and learned that you just have to commit one way or the other. So he got a lot of experience at the super speedway, improving his resume and his game going forward, and that is going to help him significantly in the playoffs because, of course, there is going to be the super speedway race in the playoffs, so he is going to need experience for that one if he wants to make the run at this thing. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the playoff points after the top 5 because, the bad race is just whoever didn't win this race that needed to win this race to get to the playoffs. Bad race for them, including Kyle Busch and all of the people that finished behind Ryan Blaney there that I was talking about had a good race 1 through 5. William Byron, of course, your regular season champion, and with those bonus points that he gets after the things restack here, he will be tied for first place with Kyle Larson at 2032, 1 and 2 there, tied there. Then the next man on the list is going to be Denny Hamlin in third at 2029. 2026 for Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell there in 5th, SVG rolling off 6th in the playoffs at 2022, and then you got Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and then the 4 guys that are currently on the cut line right now are going to be Josh Berry, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, and Alex Bowman. So Alex Bowman from cut line to cut line once again. But there you go. It's going to be interesting. Those last 4 there would be the first ones chopped if the playoffs shrunk today or whatever the cut line was happening today. So there you go. From one cut line to another, the pressure is right back on. You make it in, and now you have to continue to advance in this thing. So we will see how it all plays out going forward. So there you go. Nobody can have a bad race at Darlington because it is that close. The pressure is on from here, and that's going to do it for me on this one. I appreciate y'all hanging out, and until the next one, thanks for your time. Peace.